IGCSE Computer Science. In this video, we're looking at quite a few concepts of programming, these right here. In the last video, I said something like, do I have Alzheimer's or something? Because like, I couldn't remember that this was the next video, because I said this in another video. I said that we're going to be covering some programming concepts. So yeah, now I remember. Sorry for being a bit creepy in the end of the video, where I was like, I said something like, you'll find out eventually. But yeah, let's just forget that happened, and let's continue with our lives. So, the first concept is sequence. Now, you might be wondering now, what is sequence? What? Well, it's not that hard. Sequence is basically, well, in a program, statements are executed in a sequence. That's pretty much what you need to know. So this runs first, this runs next, this next, in that order, in that sequence. Although it's quite important that you know about why we use why it's in a sequence. In programming, statements are executed in a specific order. So it's important that you think of the sequence when you're programming. It's important you think for a minute and say, should this go here or should this go here? Because one small difference like that, something that small, can make a big difference. So yeah, sequence is important to think about when you're programming. Selection, again, you might be wondering, what is selection? Well, selection is basically decision making. So it allows a program to make decisions. And this is done using the if and case statements. So if num1 is higher than num2, then output this, else output this. And that's pretty much selection. You select what statements you want to execute depending on Boolean values. Then there's repetition, which allows a program to repeat the execution of one or more statements. For example, this while loop here, or this repeat until loop here, or this for loop here. So that's pretty much repetition. Totaling, we looked at totaling quite a lot. It's used with repetition to keep a running total. So to add to a value. So this program right here, which will keep adding input, keep adding numbers input, and then print the total. That's pretty much totaling. Some questions, there was one question where it said, drag this concept to this example, and some of them they listed selection, repetition, totaling, counting, and yeah, they might ask something like that, or they might say, explain what is meant by totaling, explain what is meant by selection, something like that. So it's good that you know this. Then finally we have counting, which is also used with repetition, with the counter increased or decreased by 1 every time the loop is repeated. So we have two examples here. We have count equals 1, and this counts up until count becomes 11, and this counts down until count becomes 0. So you can see how counting works. There's not much to actually say about it because we've used it, so you can easily explain what counting is just by getting the experience of using counting in programming. Yeah, the next video we're going to be looking at using. Yeah, now I remember. We're using predefined functions and procedures. So yeah, we'll look at that. And then we can look at arrays, and then that's pretty much the end of programming, and that's pretty much it. That's the end. And then we can move on to our final little topic, and we're finished. Alright, so yeah, thanks for watching, and see you guys when I see you guys.